The F Word by Zukiswa Wanner. Bow Wow, Omarion, and Lil Romeo were the young musicians who seemed to be on television, whether on MTV or on the children's shows on ETV or SABC. If Martin and I had Whitney, Madonna, and Pet Shop Boys, these three young Americans were the most influential musicians for Zuko. And this being the case, Zuko too wanted his hair braided like the celebrities. I asked Gladness to do it, and she did neat little cornrows that had him looking like one of his musical heroes. It didn't turn out well when Martin got back home. "What's happening with your hair?" he asked as soon as he got into the house and saw Zuko. "No, hey little man, how's your day? Swimming, etc." None of that. Just, "What's happening with your hair?" in a voice full of displeasure. "Aunt Gladness braided it. Mom said I look like Bow Wow. Do you think it's nice, Dad?" Zuko asked, pretending innocence. Yet I'm pretty certain he had heard the annoyance in Martin's voice. "Jermaine," the question was in his voice. "Oh, come on, Martin. It's harmless. And he does look adorable. Besides, didn't your mum show me an album where you had your hair styled like Kid and Play?" I defended. "That was different, Jermaine." Different how, baby?" "Well, come on. The boy just braided his hair. What will people say?" "The same thing they said when they saw you with your kid hairstyle, that you were a child being a child," I answered. "And since when did you start caring what people think?" "Maybe you should leave the banking industry, Mr. Stuffed Shirt," I teased. So the braided hair stayed. At some point, Liam, who we hadn't seen for a while, came visiting. "Comrade Uncle!" Zuko ran to him as soon as he arrived. Liam hugged him, then pushed him back and kept him at arm's length as he examined his hair. "Boy, why are you going around with hair braided like a woman? Are you a fag now?" I was watching and had just been about to go and hug Liam, but now that was not going to happen. "Liam, get the fuck out." Zuko was temporarily stunned. Since he was born, we had managed not to use bad words in his presence. He recovered quicker than Liam and said, "Mom, you said a bad word." I looked at him and said, "I'm sorry, darling. Go to your room. Uncle Liam and I need to talk." "But," I said, "go to your room, Zuko." A little stunned at the tone of my voice, he did. Then I turned to Liam and said, "You're still here. Come now." "Jermaine, I was teasing. We're trying to raise a boy here, and..." "Go and get your own children and raise your boys, Liam." Yes, it was below the belt, but I was angry beyond reason. Who thinks it's okay to say fag when you're not talking of cigarettes in 2006? I mean, honestly. He raised his hand in resignation. "There's no talking to you when you're like this. I'll come back later," he said. "Oh, don't bloody hell come back. Just go, Liam. Go." Liam walked out. I was scheduled to go to Gook's for a shareholders meeting. Noma Kanjani was doing well. We were supplying a chain store, and most tourist buses had made our workshop a part of their tour. I walked out not too long after Liam had left. When I returned, Gladness asked me for 20 rand. I opened my bag, but just before I handed it over, I asked, "What for?" I used my money to take Zuko to the barber shop to get a cheese sculpt. Huh? So I went to Zuko's room, and there he was, head shorn. What? I don't look like a fag now, Mum, do I? Fucking Liam. I sat on his bed and nodded to him with my head. Sit down, darling. Mommy needs to talk to you. He sat. What, Mama? He often resorted to Mama when he thought he was in trouble. What's a fag? I asked him. I had to know where to start. He shrugged his shoulders. I don't know. Like, sometimes those guys on Long Street who are kissing other guys. And what's wrong with that? I asked. He didn't answer. I'm waiting, Zuko. I asked you a question. I don't know. Then he went on a limb. Well, they're like girls. Then, with more conviction. When guys kiss each other, it's wrong. They act like girls. Who told you that? When I went over for a sleepover at Uncle Ben's house, he took us for ice cream, and there were these two guys who were kissing and sharing their ice cream. And then this man came up holding a black book and said they're going to hell. He answered. Christian bigots. I was forced to find a way around it. Is Mummy a girl? I asked. Yes, he answered with a very duh look on his face. So what's wrong with anyone acting like Mummy or any other girl? I asked. I don't know, he mumbled. Listen, darling, the world is full of different people. Some are tall and some are short. Some are dark like Daddy, some are brown like you, or fair like Mummy. Some are girls who love girls. Some are boys who love boys. And some are boys and girls who love boys and girls. And there is nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is when you say things that can hurt other people, whoever they may be. Okay? He looked solemnly at me and nodded his head. Yes, Mummy. And I don't want to ever hear you say that F word you just said now, ever again. You hear? He nodded his head again. Yes, Mummy. Then asked, is it as bad as the other F word, Mummy? No, darling. It's worse. Much worse. Thank you.